Oh, baby, we're here, ready to rock and roll on a Saturday for Week 4 college football. Good morning and welcome into this stream. Hopefully you're having a strong start to your morning. I am low-key fired up, ready to pounce and attack on a lot of different plays. And hopefully you guys are ready to kind of hang out with me for the next hour and hit up some different bets. We're going to be looking at a lot of college football money line spreads, totals, and we're looking for specifically some late movement right now from certain sharp sports books, because obviously there's going to be a lot of games going to be kicking off here in a couple hours or within an hour or so. And so what we're looking for is some specific spots where we can find some really profitable opportunities. I'm going to kind of walk through all of that in just a bit, but we're going to start off with some DFS first. So there we go. Losing streak, what's going on? Irish, Chi-Town, Trent, what's going on, guys? Let's have a day. And I'm off to a solid start this morning for sure. Always nice to see some green in your bank account. And the first thing that we're going to look at is some prize pick entries, 3 pick slips. Let's go with a minimum of 2 data points. We'll start with the bare minimum. This is like the bare, listen, you got to be at least this tall to ride this ride. That's what we're looking for when we're using OddsJam's optimizer when it comes to prize picks. So a couple of books, though, and I'm still getting over being congested, guys, from being sick for the beginning of this week, so bear with me there. But welcome, and we're looking at some different collegiate player props. Now, typically, these are one of my least favorite types of props to bet, is collegiate props. Right here, we're just seeing underdog and flip post odds, and then hot streak will chime in every now and then with some odds, and you can see sleeper as well. We don't really have any major sports books, though, providing odds for college props, right? So that's kind of that's tough. It's a tough one here, but we're looking at prize picks. I've really shifted to 3-man entries, guys. The craziest I'll get is pretty much now 4-man entries, and that would be specifically for parlay play. Shout out to the Larry model. This parlay play pick cash for me today, so I'm feeling real good. Got one green slip, and then not just one green slip, guys. Over on Underdog, I cashed this 3-leg green slip as well. The Sabali play that we gave out yesterday, that hit, so we're off and running on this 3-pick slip that looks good. And then all I need is Jorko to hit the under on this one. I'll get a shifted payout. But again, that Larry model combined with OddsJam's optimizer been a very powerful tool for me, as we got some greens across the board today that I'm fired up on. So that's just for esports, right? That's all esports. But right now for prize picks, I don't have a great deal of confidence with a lot of these plays. We're being recommended to bet the over for Bo, 216.5 passing and rushing yards, but FanDuel's at -114, where, some of these other books have us line at 276.5. I don't have a great deal of confidence on this play. Now, it's different for Matthew Stafford, even though this is fantasy scores. There's just a couple of more reputable books posting lines. So the truth is, for a lot of these collegiate player props, I don't have a ton of confidence. None really at all when it comes to this, right? It's very difficult for me to get excited about some of these plays, and especially over here on Underdog. I'm not interested in fantasy scores. It's just difficult to see when it comes to collegiate player props. And this is going to be the same, guys, for college hoops this upcoming winter. It's tough to tell, right? We don't really know. So it's not typically a market that I'm betting in too often. Now, if you watch a lot of Notre Dame football or Michigan football or USC, and you know certain teams and players and what's up, then sure. Obviously, you can find incredible edges betting collegiate props. But for myself, I don't really pay too much attention to Alabama football. So I don't know if their receivers or the running back or the quarterback's going to have a big day or not. So I'm really relying on the sports books and their odds as my guide. And so when it comes to this type of setting here, I don't have a great deal of confidence, right? If I'm looking at Wilson under on points and rebounds for tomorrow's game, we're getting this at 36.5 on Underdog at -116 odds. We could see that a lot of the books have this at 35.5 at like -110 or so. So I like this under over on Underdog because we're getting an extra point or rebound. So this would be a play that I would throw in my slip. So if I'm cooking up a 3-pick slip, this is what I would do. Now, on a 3-pick slip, we're getting this at -122 odds. I'm still okay with it, even though it's not incredible. Looks like that play might have bumped. But Again, depending on the type of play that you're cooking up over here on Underdog, it's all going to be based on, guys, what type of odds that you're receiving, your payout. So for 3-man entries, no insurance, it's going to change, right? If we're going over here to better, again, this is going to kind of be the conundrum with OddsJam's optimizer, is that I like to have at least 2, if not more, different sports books providing odds. And so if we're looking to bet collegiate player props today, you could see like a better on a 5-pick slip for Eugene Wilson. We're getting this at minus 120 odds. FanDuel's at minus 132. Like I'm a little more interested now in this Eugene Wilson play under 4.5 receptions. ESPN bets at minus 130. Okay. And then Fliff has this under 3.5 at minus 110. So I'm interested in putting Eugene Wilson on a better entry. Now I can't, because in Arizona I can't bet collegiate props, but I would put this in on my slip. Again, for Bo here on his rushing yards, FanDuel's got this under 23.5 at minus 114. Obviously, with rushing receiving yards, guys, there's a wider distribution. But here, we're getting this at minus 120 for 33.5. So I'm a little bit more interested now in this play, right? Fliff's at 31.5, minus 125. So these first 2 plays here for better, I like these. I like these quite a bit. Again, I'd rock a 5-man entry with insurance, guys, but I'd still play both of these first 2 plays on my slips. Lamar Jackson over on his rushing attempts, 7. Yeah, it's okay. I would say, I'd say no, not really. Apologies, guys. Again, got a lot of congestion. I go Cam Ward. Over 30.5 passing attempts, I would be a little bit more interested. The problem here is that Pinnacle's at minus 105, but it's a slightly better play. I like it better than Lamar. So I'd go Wilson, Bo, Cam. And then baseball, bet at your own risk here, guys. The Dodgers this is the Angels and the Rockies, excuse me. You know, if you want to bet Marquez, if you're simply just looking at the books, it's okay. This Hawkinson play, it's like not bad. You could do worse. This Hawkinson play, compared to Pinnacle, this is insanely good. To FanDuel, it's not. So, but the thing here is that Pinnacle seems to be the outlier out of all the books, which causes me a little hesitation. So it's not always just simple copy and paste, guys. As I've kind of grown and evolved sports betting, I've really changed my opinion on the optimizer and some of the plays that are being recommended to me. And the first 2 plays that I really liked, I'm fine with the Cam Ward play. The rest of the plays are kind of just, and I don't really like playing plays, right? It's not really my cup of tea. Rick, what's going on? Richard, how are you, man? So, all right, I'm just going to quickly move through some of these other books and see with Fliff. We have some pretty juicy stuff here. So if I go like minus 150 to plus 200, what does that tell us? Is there anything at all? Okay, we have some collegiate props here. So here would be an example where I'm interested. Fliff, Dampier, under 1.5 passing touchdowns. FanDuel's at minus 140. Now, Pinnacle's only at minus 115, but 15 cents off at plus 100 odds. I like that play. Hoover on his passing touchdowns. You can kind of see a theme here, guys. Like 3 of these 4 plays are all quarterback passing touchdowns. No odds, though, here between Pinnacle or FanDuel. So on this Harvard-Stenson game, though compared to BetOnline, this is 20 cents off, so I'm a little bit more interested in playing this one. Hoover, we're getting this at a very good price. FanDuel and Pinnacle are in agreement with their price here, so I like this play on Fliff. For Ryan Brown, or Ryan Brownie, however the hell you say his last name, no Pinnacle odds, so I have some confidence, but I really like these first 2 plays. I don't know if I have any money in my Fliff account or not, because I know they're supposed to be disappearing here soon in Arizona. Let me take a look. Now I got 2 cents. All right. Don't think I can buy any more stuff over on Fliff either. Can I buy anything more? Maybe, maybe not. Yeah. So Sportsbook bundle purchase not available in your location, Arizona. So my Fliff experience, guys, is over and done with. Had a good run with them. Obviously, I'm going to be in Pennsylvania this time next week, so I can use Fliff, but I just can't use them in Arizona. So unfortunately, RIP Fliff for Arizona. That's officially done. But if I could use Fliff, then Dampier and Hoover, I would definitely go after. Let's take a look at Rebet too, if there's any Rebet plays. I'm sure Rebet's going to have a few more. Let's go 3 minimum data points. So this is Major League Soccer. All day on this one. Yeah, I'm in on this one. Atlanta FC, San Diego FC over 2.5 goals. This is for today's the 20th, correct? Yeah, this afternoon. I like this a lot, or this evening, wherever you're living. I would say I'm in on this play. I definitely like this one. I don't really mess around with too many draw no bets for Brazilian Serie A soccer. Team total again. I would rather bet the over in the total games, guys, than maybe the over for San Diego FC. Again, I don't watch a lot of San Diego football, but if you do and you know the team well, I'm interested because this is 13 cents off the Pinnacle and it's 21 cents off to bet online. So I don't mind the team total over. If you wanted to add some risk, bet the over team total goals, bet San Diego to score 2 goals or more in the game. That's what I would do. Yeah, Demo, I can't. Well, I only have 2 cents over there. So yeah, you can still play. If you live in Arizona, guys, you can still play with your flip balance. You just, if you're like me and you have no money in it anymore, then you can't bet with it. So, St. Louis team total. Yeah, 20 cents off. I like some of these team totals. So if you're a rebet user, could be some MLS, definitely some MLS value over there with betting some different types of totals. If we're looking at DraftKings Pick 6, and we're starting with 3-man entries with no insurance, obviously there's going to be a lot of football or NFL plays for tomorrow. I am fine with playing the Jake Browning play. Jake Browning feels like a guy to me that's going to chuck the ball about 50 times in this game, but we'll see. Vikings have a really good defense. Trevor Lawrence against the Texans. Over 30, you can see passing attempts is something that's been showing up a lot, guys, the early part of the season. If you've been having like we're hitting week 3 of NFL, if you've been seeing early success with passing attempts in the NFL, this is something that repeatedly shows up with DraftKings Pick 6. So looking at Trevor Lawrence, I'm okay with this over 32.5. It's fine. It's fine. Caleb Williams, same thing, over 32.5. It's okay. It's not as good as maybe the Lawrence play, but it's okay. Saquon under on his rushing attempts. While the Rams and the Eagles have some great offensive pieces, they got 2 really good defenses. This could be a really low-scoring game tomorrow. Yeah, I'm all right with these kind of first 3 plays. Again, make sure you don't make the mistake I do. All of these guys are playing on the same time, same day. So these are 3 plays that you can actually play. Andre, do I recommend no vig? 1,000%. 1,000%. I might give up a kidney for like a no vig or a Profit X. I had them for a long time, and then they were stripped away from me. When I go back to Pennsylvania, I will have no vig and Profit X again, which will be really, really nice. But yes, could not recommend no vig. And the reason, guys, if you are someone that is using a top-down strategy and you're trying to use the exchanges like ProfitX and NoVig, the thing that I love about the exchanges is that you don't I think where so many people, too many people are robotic, they lack a lot of creativity. So what I mean by that, and we're going to get into this in just an example, is it's more going to be for positive EV betting. It's not going to be so much for arbitrage. The exchanges are great for arbitrage. If there's liquidity on the exchanges and you can hit up an arb all day, every day, use the exchanges. New book called Ninja Casino. I'm probably going to remove them because I haven't signed up for them. This is my custom date range, guys. I got this for today and tomorrow. I'm going after main markets, player props. Pre-match arbitrage, nothing over 10%, right? Nothing over 10% because I believe it's a mistake made by the sports books. And then you can see that, there's always new sports books being added over here at OddsJam. Use code Billy35, guys. You're going to get a 1-week free trial. Make sure you talk to the fine folks at OddsJam. Ask them for a 1-week free trial of Platinum. And then you're going to save 35% off your first month. So the exchanges are great for arbitrage. Looks like there's a mistake here on Fanatics for Kenneth Walker. Okay. Moneyline play here between Bookmaker and Polymarket. If you guys aren't using Kalshi or Polymarket, sign up. They're great books. They're like the exchanges. You can bet whatever you want on Polymarket or Kalshi. It's a fun time. You're not going to get limited on those books. Those are the trade prediction markets. I don't know if this is real life. If it is real life, I'll take a look because this would definitely be an opportunity between the global sports books that I'd want to go after these. I'm going to say it's most likely this is probably not real. I'm sure that Bookmaker has adjusted its odds on the Mercury, but we're just going to double check real quick. This is going to be for tomorrow. Yeah, the Mercury are at now plus 279. So this is all a mistake here. So all you could do here, guys, is you could just go hide this bet, and I can hide this event altogether, or I can just hide the money line play. And next thing you know, this really changes a lot, right? So if you guys see this middle opportunity over here, understand if this is still alive and well on Kenneth Walker, you can hit this up between Fanatics and DraftKings, okay? And even if this play is gone, just bear with me for an example. If Kenneth Walker runs anywhere between 70 yards to 78 yards, you're going to cash both bets between Fanatics and DraftKings. If Kenneth Walker rushes for 69 yards or less, then the bet loses on DraftKings and wins on Fanatics. You make $16 in profit off of your $170 investment. Don't have $170? Type in whatever dollar amount that you have that you can afford to invest. So if you have $104, you can do this. If you can only have $43, then you're going to make $4. If he rushes for 79 yards or more, the bet loses on DraftKings, wins on Fanatics, you cash. If he rushes for 69 yards or less, it loses on DraftKings, wins on Fanatics. Or wins on DraftKings, loses on Fanatics. But if he lands in between 70 and 78, you're going to cash both bets. So when you see this little middle opportunity symbol here, this is a chance for you to cash both sides of a wager. Now, the reason that I say that Fanatics is the mistake book here is because you could see that all of these plays are a bunch of different books, FanDuel, DraftKings, ESPN, BetRivers. They're all matching with Fanatics. So when they all match with Fanatics, Fanatics is the book that's screwed up, okay? But here, Cam Scattaboo, FanDuel, and BetRivers. If you can bet this over here, over under 39.5 rushing yards, you're going to make a 4% return off of your investment no matter how many rushing yards Cam Scattaboo gets. So the more money you can invest with arbitrage betting, the more money that you can make, right? So if you can wager $180, you're going to make about $7. If you can only wager $18, then you're going to make 78 cents. Right? So with player props, guys, I would highly advise to keep your wager sizes under $250. So if you can wager $240 on FanDuel, $190, I just put this as $190 on BetRivers, guys, you're going to make like $17-18, no matter what Cam Scattaboo does tomorrow. It's a really good time over there. No doubt, MP, let's go. No Vig, yeah, definitely dominates it. No doubt about that, Ken, let's go. Just so you guys know, if you're still betting baseball, for myself, there's really only one or two games that I'm really focused on. Yesterday, one of the games was the Dodgers game, but the Dodgers now clinched the postseason. Sitting on the couch last night after my girlfriend and I finished watching Ted Lasso. I've already seen it, but she hasn't, so I wanted to show it to her. Soon as we sat down, we threw on Apple TV, Dodgers-Giants. Shohei Ohtani hits a 3-run home run, and then Mookie Betts hits a home run. They go back-to-back. And I'm like, I just like stare at my girlfriend with this scowl on my face because I'm just so jealous. As a Pirates fan, we can't have nice things. Why can't I have nice things as a Pirates fan? But the Dodgers, with their $3 trillion bankroll, clinch a postseason spot for the 13th straight year they're going to the postseason. So for today, guys, just so you know, because there's really only one or two games that I'm focused on. The Astros and the Mariners game is that game, okay? Mariners take the first game, so now the Astros are one game back of the division lead. So I'm really focused on the Astros and the Mariners. Shout out Christian Walker, going 0 for 3 last night, cashing the under on his total bases. There's not too many other games that I'm looking to really bet baseball. It's only going to be teams that really have something to play for. And, so the Red Sox, Rays, that might be another game that I'm looking to bet. But, or some of these teams, maybe we're looking to bet something on the Giants side. So if we're looking to bet a hitter on the Giants, like a Matt Chapman over under total bases, the Giants still have an outside chance of making the wild card spot. So for baseball guys, it's very selective, very, very selective. All right, let's take a look at EV betting. And getting back to what Andre was asking me earlier, which was about no vig and profit X. So here's where so many people make the mistake, in my opinion, okay? So many people, when you're EV betting, you get limited on Fanatics in like 2 days, right? And then you get limited on BetMGM, or you get limited on Ballybet. and you're like, bro, I can't, like Billy, I can't bet these plays that you're talking about. Well, guess what, hombre? If you have a no vig or a profit X, you are always in the game. It doesn't matter. I don't know why people don't do this. And if you do this in the chat, please tell me you do. I think this is something that everyone should be doing, which is, let's say you're looking at some EV plays, okay? And you're going over to Pinnacle and you're going to look at worst case, two of my favorite DVIG methods. You're going to go like a minus 200. You're going to go to like a plus 130, okay? And you're seeing all these plays recommended to you for Blaine Crim or Luis Garcia. Why don't you go over to the exchanges and create a bunch of plays that are odds similar to Fanatics? Like, I'm not saying that all your orders are going to get filled, but if you have an exchange, you should be looking at Fanatics and BetMGM's plays on the Plus EV tool, going over to no vig and creating a bunch of bets that are very similarly priced to MGM, right? That's what I would do, right? Now, in this case, if no vigs at minus 127, like the creativity that you can have with these exchanges, I feel so many people are either just way too lazy or they just lack the vision of the creativity that you have. The world is your oyster with no vig and profit X. Any of these plays that pop up for any of these books that you're limited on, you can go and create the play over at the exchange. Do that. Just do that. You're going to have a really good time. You're going to see really good success. If you know that you can crush Fanatics on player props, but you're limited to $2 a bet size, then go create that player prop over on no vig. Try that. I think I would rather do this than try to figure out than betting into no vig and profit X on certain plays. That's what I would do. So like everybody kind of forgets. Nobody thinks about this because everyone's looking this way. And I'm going to finish my point here in a second. And no one's looking this way. And everyone's like, man, I'm losing on no vig. Stop taking the bets on no vig. Start creating the bets on no vig. Start looking at the DraftKings plays on the EV tool. And I'm really mostly talking to my OGs and DGens that come to the streams every day. This is really more of a discussion for you, right? I normally don't get this fired up, but I don't understand why people don't do this. It seems to be like a pretty simple strategy. Just go and pull the easiest books that you know that you can make money on, and then go create markets over on no vig and profit X. And maybe you only get half your orders filled, but I'd rather get those orders filled for those bets than trying to figure out who's sharp and who's not sharp. So that's my 2 cents. Let's take a look at some college football plays. We're going to look at Bookmaker right now because Bookmaker takes more money for college football plays than Pinnacle. And we'll do a quick spot check, okay? So what we'll do here is we'll just clear this all out. Again, guys, if you're finding any value into the streams, make sure to like and subscribe. It means a lot. We're getting close to 7,500 subs. We're going to give away $7,500. I'm sorry, not 70. Holy shit. We're not doing that. We're giving away $75 to 7 people on the stream when we hit 7,500 subs. No offense to Ninja. I mean, this sports book's going to flood my screen. And maybe I'll have to take a look at them because obviously they're popping up all the time. But I'm just going to remove the Ninja Casino book. It's an offshore book that I have to figure out if I want to start to use it or not. Okay, so some of these books, again, like any one of these plays, guys, you can go over and create a market. So if Wyoming at plus 13.5, if you like that and you can't bet it on Hard Rock, then go create it on no vig and profit X. Go make this a minus 106. You know you're still going to get really good EV and see if your order gets filled, right? Because if you want minus 106 on one side, you're going to be offering plus 106 on the other side. So maybe you offer a minus 110 on plus 13.5 Wyoming. That's what you get. You offer plus 110 on the other side. You might get your order filled. You'll be surprised. So what we're looking for here is kind of late game movement. Jazz Sports is a global sports book I have an account with. I don't really use very often. I don't have any money there. So yeah, Los, yeah, I got to retract that one, dude. We might have to delete this live stream after it's over because I'm not giving away $7,500. But maybe one day, right? But not yet. So we're going to look at some different plays that I'm going to try to see if I can maybe bet. So like the under 49.5 San Diego Princeton. So here's why I don't like using Pinnacle as kind of my sharp book right now, is because they're only taking $250 on this play. And so if Pinnacle was taking $2,500 on this play, then obviously Pinnacle has more confidence, right? If you guys are having a hard time understanding liquidity with sports books, let me break it down to you this way. If me and you were watching a football game and I was like, hey man, this team's going to score a touchdown on this drive right now. And you're like, okay, bet how much? Well, if I was taking a $10 bet, you're like chicken. You don't have a lot of confidence. And I'm like, yeah, I don't. But if I was like, I'll take a $10 million bet, you're like, whoa, dude. Like, what do you know that I don't know, right? So the more money these sports books take on a bet, the more confidence that they have in a play, right? So that's why I'm not as... So if I come over here to, we're looking at what, the under 49? If I come over here to Bookmaker, they're taking $290 on San Diego and Princeton. So honestly, I don't have confidence on any of these. I'd have probably more confidence that FanDuel's the sharp, because I would say FanDuel's probably taking a larger bet size. So I don't want to mess around with San Diego and Princeton. This is just not something I want to deal with. They're too small of schools. A little different scenario here with Michigan and Nebraska. It's Big Ten. It's a very popular game. Pinnacle's taking $3K on the first half money line, right? So bingo, right? More money I'm more interested in. So Pennsylvania Stonehill, like you're going to get recommended some of these plays, guys. And back in the day, before I knew the liquidity limits for these books or paid attention to it, you know, I didn't know this was only $250. So I would be back, like you catch me on a stream a year ago, I'm placing this bet. I'm not doing that anymore. There's just too small liquidity. I don't have any confidence in that actual play. So as you can see, there's a lot of Hard Rock plays. Ton of Hard Rock plays. If we're looking at maybe UNLV in Miami over on FanDuel, Pinnacle's taking $5,000 on this play. So I like that, right? That's really good. Let's take a look, though, when we jump in here. Oh, this is the indicator. Let's go. We're going to run over to FanDuel right now and bet this under 50.5. UNLV, Miami of Ohio, under 50.5, minus 110. Pinnacle's moving quite a bit within the last 2 hours, if not hour. Right? When you can see a certain sharp sports book move in a certain direction, this is go, 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 go. So I'm just going to type in UNLV over here in the search bar. And there it is. OddsJam's telling me to wager $140 on this play. I could not agree more. I'm going to go a little bit more than that. I'll go 150 because I only got $300 in the account. There we go. So we're going to go 150 right here. UNLV, Miami of Ohio, under 50.5 at minus 110. Okay. This is a play that I really like because, first off, we're getting an incredible price on FanDuel, and Pinnacle's taking $5K, so I feel pretty good about that in terms of the wager limits. If we want to find out, though, how much money is actually being taken right now over on FanDuel, okay, all I have to do is come back over here, click on this under. Let's see what they're taking. Because I'm not logged in. As you guys can see, I just logged myself out. I'm not logged in anymore. So they're taking $4,900. So they're taking almost the same exact wager size as FanDuel is, right? It's the same wager size, minus $50. But Pinnacle just moved in a massive direction. So I'm very interested in this play. This is really, apologies, this is what I like to look for. So I'm in on this. Definitely like that play. Over on minus 110. Make sure I put this in my bet tracker for sure. Okay, so there's one. Good to know, Richard. The FanDuel college football boost. You guys definitely want to make sure you take advantage of it. Let me slide down here. Yeah, boosting with the boys. 50% profit boost token. So if we were going to use a profit boost token, I would say we definitely add this as one of the plays. And then we can just kind of specifically look for FanDuel right now and see what we got going on here. Let's clear this all out. What else do we got here? San Diego Princeton play I don't have a ton of confidence in. West Virginia plus 13.5. It's a pretty key number. But Pinnacle's taking 10K on this. Oh, yeah. All right, so we're going to take this one, too. We're going to take Dub V. Because if they lose by 13, like 13's also an important number as well. What about Boise State and Air Force? Circa's at 110. I don't like where bookmakers at here. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, they're moving in that direction, but I'm not maybe as interested with that play. Western Michigan. Really good liquidity being taken on here with Pinnacle for Western Michigan. Again, a lot of movement. Okay, we're in on that. So we're gonna rock a little 3-leg parlay over here. So let me tee this up. So this is how I'm going to use my 50% profit boost, and I appreciate Richard, you let me know about that. Appreciate that. So we're going to take Western Michigan. We're going to take this under on UNLV again. Make sure you guys take this boost. So I'm just waiting for it to pop up. I love how FanDuel just gives me like all different kinds of vibes. I just went from the white screen to the black screen. Let's go back to the light. There we go. All right, let's look at the promos. And I want to make sure that I claim this bad boy. All right, so we're going to go ahead and use the search bar. And I'm going to type in UNLV. Under 50.5. We're going to go with Western Michigan. We're going to take them at plus 14.5. This is going to be an alternate spread, guys. So we're going to take Western Michigan. Very key number, getting this at plus 14.5. You know, sometimes the key numbers don't work out for us, right? We throw a key number yesterday. We're taking WVU as well. Throw a key number on Rutgers plus 3.5, and, well, they lose by 10. So, I mean, that's sports betting at times. And then West Virginia. Am I missing something here? They're taking on Kansas today, so let's just type in Kansas. Did they remove this game? They pull this game? I don't see it anymore. Oh, there it is, college football. I'm like having a... There it is. It's Dub V Mountaineers. I hate that with FanDuel. Okay, so again, we're going to take West Virginia plus 13.5. So they're on the right side here. Let's grab this. All right, this is going to be a 3-leg parlay. We're getting a 50% boost. So we find 3 legs that have positive EV. What's the max wager size? $10? Okay. 3 legs that have plus EV. And then we are putting a massive 50% boost on all of these. Right, so now my $10 is going to earn me $81 in profit. Right, it's not just going to get me. So stop betting your prop. So don't bet this on minus 200s. To get it at like a minus 110. It's really not optimal. And if we wanted to add more legs, I could have. But we're going to come up here. And as you're going to see, for these 3 plays, anytime OddsJam software wants to work for me real quick, that'd be great. We're going to get this for $10. We should be getting odds of plus 542, which is better than any other sports book. But I'm going to add this to my bet tracker. And then if you guys don't know how to do this, right, once you add it to a bet tracker, you can come over to the tracker, come over to here, and then just come over to this little pencil and just click odds boost, and then just change this to plus 813, because that's the odds that I'm getting this at. And that's how you're going to do that, right? That's how you can go about this. So there we go. Let's take a look at some other plays outside of FanDuel. Now let's get back into this. So that's how I'd use my 50% odds boost. Appreciate you, Richard. Let me know about that. Let's remove crazy ninja plays, and let's see what we got going on. Okay. Yeah, no problem, Irish. There's different boosts depending on the state that you live in. That's going to happen. Why are we seeing all these low edge plays? Let's at least go minimum 1%. That'd be nice. What's the dealio here? Why is this? Bear with me one moment, guys. I apologize. This is very annoying that all of a sudden now the college football plays are not popping up like I wanted them to. So let's go 1. Let's go DVIG to bookmaker. Worst case, league, clear, bump. Again, you can have these already preset and saved. But we'll just take a look at some stuff right now. Okay, here we go. It's a little better now. So we got a lot of different plays over here on ESPN Bet. So Oregon State, Oregon. All right, if you want, obviously LSU's playing Southeastern Louisiana. Bookmakers got this at, I mean, this is a pretty simple one here, guys. Sometimes these plays are real easy, right? Plus 115 odds, Every other sports book has a minus sign next to its name. There's one book that has plus odds. I don't really think it's a mistake by Hard Rock. I just think that Hard Rock's just a really easy book to make money on. So I like that. Oregon State, Oregon. So Pinnacle's at plus 102 odds. Okay. If I wanted to just quickly check to see what bookmaker is taking on this game, we're looking at the over 57.5. They are taking $5,400. So Pinnacle's taking $4K. Bookmaker's taking $5,400. Plus 110 odds over on ESPN Bet. This is where, guys, having the platinum plan is going to be huge. Being able to see this line movement is a game changer for sure. So this is 8 cents off to Pinnacle, which still meets my criteria, barely. What do I mean by that? What's the difference between plus 110 and plus 102? It's 8. So that's where I'm getting 8 cents of difference. So 8 cents or more, I'm in on that. And obviously it's really good to bookmaker. So I would definitely go over to ESPN Bet and I would bet this over on Oregon State. If I wanted to have some fun, I could say, okay, there's one leg of my parlay. Hey, Air Force, 10.5. 10.5 is a pretty key number. And you're seeing here that the problem is that Pinnacle doesn't agree with bookmaker. So these two sharp books disagree with one another. And bookmaker, though, just moved. You could see this, right? Bookmaker was at minus 110. They were at minus 115 now. A little bit of movement here from bookmaker. I'm a little bit more interested now in this Air Force play. So I take this Air Force play, right? Temple plus 23.5. Not going to lie. 24 is a pretty popular number, right? This could pop up here. Again, Pinnacle and bookmaker disagree, but bookmaker and FanDuel agree. So let's take a little closer look. Well, let's look at bookmaker. They just moved a little bit from like a minus 102 to minus 105. Very small movement. FanDuel's pretty much chilling, right? They had a quick little hiccup and then they came back down to where they were. Pinnacle moved up quite a bit, but that was 18 hours ago. And they've been kind of chilling up here. So you know what? I'm not going to play this Temple play. I don't like the number 23.5. I'm going to take Air Force and Oregon State. So I'm going to come over here to ESPN Bet, and I'm going to cook up a 2-leg parlay, right? If you want to play this safer, guys, if you want to have less variance, play these as all individual straight bets, right? That's what I would do. But over here, I'm going to play these as a 2-leg parlay, and as you can see, we're getting paid out the most over at ESPN Bet compared to any other sports book. Now, if you don't know how much money to put on this parlay, because I want to make sure I'm here for the parlay bettors too. EV parlay betting is the best, is a ton of fun, right? So if I got a 0.5% chance, right, 50% chance here, not negative 0.5, but just 0.5, times this by 0.515, 0.511, right, because I need both legs to hit in order to cash. So I really have a 25.55% chance. So if I come over to a Kelly criterion calculator and I say, yo, here's what's going on, Kelly. I like to bet you a quarter Kelly, and I have a 25.55% chance. The odds that I'm receiving on this play are plus 331 because this is a traditional parlay. Kelly's going to tell me, yo, you got a 10% EV edge. You should bet 3/4 of 1 unit on this parlay. I'm like, hey, it's perfect. Easy peasy. So then I'm going to come over here to ESPN Bet, and I'm just going to search these plays. And I'm going to say I want the over 57.5 at plus 110 odds. Double checking my work here. Yep. Right. And if the odds change at all on any of these guys, then we're completely out. And then I want Air Force. I want Air Force plus 10.5. Right now you can get him at plus 11.5. I'll take him at plus 10.5, plus 105. I'm getting odds. I should be getting odds of plus 331. And guess what? I'm getting odds of plus 331. I'm being told that I should wager $114 on this parlay. So guess what? I'm just going to wager $115 on this parlay. Bingo. So now I have, whenever this pops up on ESPN Bet, I'm now going to have my 2-leg parlay right here. There's my 2-leg parlay. Oregon State over, Boise State or Air Force plus 10.5. I'll throw this in here for my own records. And then what I'll do is I'll just come over here. I'll throw in $115 and I'll click add to parlay. There it is. That's all you do. That's how you figure out how much money you should put on a parlay, right? Obviously, if your bankroll is within reason, right? If you have a $75,000 bankroll, then this isn't probably you don't need to worry about this. If you have a $750 bankroll, you want to pay attention to what we just did. It's going to be very important. MT, it's good to hear that. MT, I always appreciate that because obviously I'm very lucky and blessed to use the platinum plan. So I didn't always know if you can see line movement on the gold plan, which is excellent because that's going to be very impactful for you guys. Where line movement's going to be huge is like what we're doing right now. It's game day. We're an hour away from some games kicking off. We're a couple hours away from some other games kicking off. If you can see sharp books like a Pinnacle or a bookmaker moving in a direction, one direction, pick off the stale book. I love that. Or if you're betting player props, you need to look. You need to pay attention. Stop just looking at the tool like this and saying, oh, I'm just going to bet this. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's so 2021. We've evolved as a software here with OddsJam. Stop doing that. Start looking at line movement. That's how you're going to beat these books. What else we got? For my Canby people, Wyoming plus 11. Obviously, there's going to be times where Bookmaker and Pinnacle disagree with one another. So Pinnacle's taking 10K. And I would highly advise, guys, that you create a Bookmaker account, even if you don't plan on using the account. Okay? Sign up for BetOnline, sign up for Bookmaker, even if you don't deposit a nickel over there. Create an account because that's going to let you take a look at their limits, right? You need an account in order to be able to look at their limits. You don't have to deposit any money at all, but what you're going to be able to do is take a look at what they have going on. So in Colorado and Wyoming, I'm just looking at, well, how much is like Bookmaker taking on Wyoming plus 11? So this is a big difference right now, okay? And I might get in trouble on YouTube for this, but this is why this is so important, okay? This is why I use Bookmaker. Pinnacle's taking $10,000 right now on Wyoming plus 11. Guess what? Bookmaker's taking $21,000 on Wyoming plus 11. They're taking double the amount that Pinnacle is taking. So start using Bookmaker. So which book do I trust more? I got one guy that says, yo, I'll take 10K on this bet. I got another guy that says, yo, I'll take 21K on this bet. If I'm a professional sports bettor with a $3 million bankroll, where am I trying to get my money down at? If I'm trying to get down, if I got a guy that's telling me, yo, bro, you should go smash Wyoming plus 11, where am I trying to get my money down at? Bookmaker. I'm not trying to go to Pinnacle. I'll go to Pinnacle next. I'm going to Bookmaker first, right? So I'm going to click into Bookmaker, and I'm going to pay attention to what they're doing. Now, they're just kind of chilling right now. There's not a lot happening. Pinnacle did move, though. Pinnacle moved from plus 106 to plus 100. See, these are all little things that you're going to want to pay attention to. And if this all seems overwhelming, or if you're new to the stream, you can work with me one-on-one with coaching. These are some things that we look into. We work with a custom tailor-made platform to work on what's your risk tolerance, what's your books that you have available to you, what books can you actually make money on right now. You know, if you're limited on Fanatics, then I'm going to create a different strategy for you with Fanatics. But depending on where you're at, if you want to learn the ins and outs of positive EV betting, because I've been doing this for 4 years, you can work with me one-on-one. I have different coaching packages. If you want to sign up for a free 30-minute call, just to chat with me and see if it's even worth your time, then book one here. Logan wants to know about the TCU SMU. That's what he's worried about. So TCU SMU. For bookmakers purposes, we're not really looking much on the totals. If we're looking at the spreads, there's only $93 over here on ProfitX. I'm definitely interested on that. If I'm just interested in finding out what's bookmakers limits, because we're seeing Pinnacles at 20K and it's being recommended this play for us. If we're looking at TCU minus 7, bookmakers taking $31,000 on this play. So bookmaker is at minus 105. Again, this is difficult because there's a difference of opinion on this TCU play. This is a very big difference of opinion, especially on a very important number at minus 7. So line movement would be key. And Pinnacle's been moving a lot. So bookmaker has not moved all that much. It doesn't mean that they're stale. It just means that they might be very confident in their number. But Pinnacle's moving a lot. Now, a reason that Pinnacle's moving more is because Pinnacle has lower limits. So if people are max betting into Pinnacle, then they're going to be changing quite a bit, right? But if we come over here and look at the event page for Logan just to see what we have going on for totals, over 63.5, all the books are very similarly aligned with 63.5. So this is only 4 cents off to Pinnacle, but it's 8 cents to bookmaker. And since we know bookmaker takes way more money than Pinnacle does, because they're taking $5,600. So actually, they don't take as much on this total, which is interesting. So depending on the markets, spreads they take more, totals they don't. I still don't mind going after this over on ESPN Bet because all the other books are very much aligned on this play, right? But it's going to be tight. If you don't have ESPN Bet, or if you're looking at some other line, like if you're looking at 64.5, I don't want to bet that over at no vig. I don't really want to do that. So, so the optimizer, when you receive access to OddsJam, the optimizer is a separate tool. But when you talk to the people at OddsJam, which is a good question, treat them like used car dealers because that's pretty much what they are. So treat them like used car dealers, and you can negotiate some different prices with them and say, listen, can you throw in the optimizer for ask them, just ask. The worst they could tell you is no. Be like, hey, I'd love to try the optimizer out. Can you throw it in for 3 days or for a week for free? See whatever you can get from them. It's not your standard type of operation when you talk to the customer service team in Randall. They're awesome people over there. They'll work with you, but negotiate. Or tell them, I don't care. Tell them that I told you could get it for a couple days for free. Do whatever you need to do to get something for value. I'm all about that. Tell them that I told you on a stream that you could get it for free for 3 days or for 5 days and see what you can get. I'm just kind of double checking right now. Yeah. Oh, Yorko doesn't play till 10:30. Okay. I was looking at my underdog slip real quick. All right. So I'm going to be doing the same type of deep dive again tomorrow, guys, for NFL. We're going to be diving into some different plays. So again, here's a couple important notes. So if you like this, come by tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. We're going to be doing this again. So couple of things. With OddsJam, you can create custom filters. So if we know that bookmaker takes more money on point spreads compared to the total points market, then all we would do is just come over here and say, all right, well, then we're going to create a point spread market for bookmaker as our DVIG using worst case. And then I'm just going to save this I'm just going to save this as NCAAF spreads BM, right? Save that. But if we notice, if I look at this LSU game right now over at bookmaker, if I come over here and I go back to the schedule and I'm looking at LSU and I'm like, all right, well, how much is Pinnacle taking on this game? Because I want to know how much Pinnacle takes to kind of figure out what's what. It's like, all right, well, Pinnacle's taking 2K. So I'm like, okay, well, what does... Trying to figure out where LSU Southeast Louisiana is. I'm having a hard time on bookmaker finding this play. That's fine. We can look at something different. So I could say, all right, let's go into Indiana, Illinois. If I'm looking at Indiana, Illinois, and I'm looking at the total points market, and we're seeing that Pinnacle's taking 6K on money lines. So if we come down to total points, 52.5, Pinnacle's taking 3K. All right, well, their bookmaker's taking 54K. Okay, so it might just depend on the different markets. But you can come over here and create different, if you want to focus on spreads, you want to focus on money lines. We want to focus on the books that are taking a ton of money. So if we're looking at spreads, Wyoming plus 11, I don't mind that, right? I don't mind that at all because bookmakers taking $21,000. If you're looking at Auburn plus 6.5, 6.5 is pretty important here, guys. Now, there's only $44 over here on no vig. So this is 9 cents off to Pinnacle. It's 14 cents off to bookmaker. Again, if you guys aren't sure how I'm getting 14 cents, if you're bookmaker's odds, you got to go from minus 103 to plus 100. That's a 3-cent movement. And then from plus 100 to plus 111. So 11 plus 3, 14. That's how we're getting to 14. So take this. I'm okay with this, right? Like, you might get scared off that no vig's offering 2K. Like, Pinnacle's taking $20,000. So I'm not concerned at all that there's $2,000 on no vig, because one of the sharpest sports books in the world's taking 20K. And if I was to go over here and to pull up this Auburn play on Bookmaker, let's take a look here. Auburn, Oklahoma, they're taking 6.5. They're taking $30,000. So Bookmaker's taking 30K, Pinnacle's taking 20K. Go bet this over at no vig. The problem here, it's an important number. Plus 6.5 is important, but okay, interesting. Also interesting to me is this probably another offshore global book called Sharp. Okay, Bet Openly. We talked about Bet Openly a lot, how they have different survivor pools. Nebraska +1 against Michigan. Guess what? Yeah, I'm okay with this. So if I go over to Bet Openly, I don't know if I have any money over there. But if I did have money over at Bet Openly, there's only $89 over there. So I would definitely go over there. This is a peer-to-peer book, guys. Again, you're never going to get limited. Looks like I don't have any money. But just to showcase to you guys, you can filter your bets by college football and then make sure you go to spreads, right? Because we're looking for spreads. And then you can just come up over here and just type in Nebraska and bingo, right? Then you can see that there's 6 different bets here on the Cornhuskers. And then you could just say, okay, I can get them at +1, plus 101, right? There's a couple different bets that have them at +1. So unfortunately, there's a lot of bets that are all kind of similar. But you can go through all these different bets, and you can just smash all these if you want to. Maybe not the 1.5, but you can grab this, right? And you're going to get some really good odds. Same thing over here with Vanderbilt -28 against Georgia State. This looks to be a pretty decent play. So you can just come over here. We're getting Vanderbilt at -101. Just come over here, type in Vanderbilt, because we're still talking about spreads. And this is how then make sure you're selected on Vanderbilt. This is how you can find the bets. There's 2 bets right now available, and they're both, one's at -28 for $20. One's at -28 for $49 at +101. If you win this bet over at Bet Openly, you pay a little bit of a percentage back to the house. It's just like ProfitX. So you're not getting paid out at +101. You're really getting paid out at -101 odds. OddsJam automatically calculates this for you on Bet Openly. So the odds that you're seeing is really what you're getting paid out at. So you might say, hey, Billy, it's +101. Well, if you win the bet, then you have to pay a small percentage to Bet Openly. OddsJam is assuming that you're going to win this bet. That's why they've already changed the odds for you. And so the work's done for you. Go ahead and place that bet. There's only $70 right now. Not a lot of money. So take a look at that. So these are some different ways. If we're looking at some different totals, though, right? Maybe we don't want to bet spreads. Maybe we're like, yo, I just want to bet total points. You can, again, set this up where you can just go total points and rip through some different plays. We talked about the Oregon play, TCU, SMU. We talked about this. I don't mind it. It's okay. 4CX, this is an exchange out here where I'm at. I never have a problem betting probably overs on West Virginia, Kansas, right? So if we jump into this play and we're taking a look, we're seeing bookmakers doing a little bit of moving. Pinnacle's moving a little bit as well. They're moving up from like a -103, maybe closer to like a +100. But again, 4CX at +105. They're taking $900. Pinnacle's taking $3K, right? That doesn't really scare me at all. And bookmakers probably going to take a little bit more. So I'm okay with betting this over at 4CX. So that's what I'm going to do right now is come over to 4CX. So if you live in Arizona and no Vig and ProfitX are gone, we can't use them anymore, you can use Sporttrade and you can use 4CX, which I do have $101 in this account right now. So you come over here to college football, and then I'll try a Control F to see. I'll just type in Kansas. Probably not there. We have to show more. It's going to be by the time the game's starting. So this is 3 o'clock today for me, 3 o'clock my time. So where's it at? There it is. Kansas over 54.5. I'm going to risk, and it doesn't matter what I have. Now I can create new offers here, guys. If I don't like this price and I want to get this at +130 or +108, I can do that. But I'm okay with this. OddsJam's telling me to bet $90. I have $105 in this. My balance, sorry, I have $101. That's what I'm going to wager. I got now West Virginia on a parlay for the point spread. I got the over 54.5. 54 is a pretty important number, but I'm okay with that for $101 over at 4CX. Again, a lot of different sports books out there, guys, that are going to provide you some different options. Let me make sure I'm catching up on the questions. Hey, Billy, I'm bored with nothing to do. Any recommendations? I mean, AR, obviously, you're going to want to bet. You're going to want to gamble, man. There's a lot going on, brother. A lot going on. Irish wants home runs and pitchers for a home run's sake. Pitchers and strikeouts. I understand, bro. I mean, I'm not really going to give you the. I mean, there might be some dudes that are going to play today. I can't really, if it's in the Astros game, then I'm interested. But otherwise, I'm probably not going to mess around with it too much, brother. So we'll look at Pinnacle, we'll look at Additive. And for baseball, I mean, I understand if you like to bet baseball. To me, like the last week of the season, we're betting on a bunch of games that have no meaning whatsoever. So not really my favorite thing to go after. Because I mean, yeah, you mean maybe the Reds or the Cubs are going to trot out their normal players, but just not something that I'm really all interested in and going after. So if we were to look at some of the really good hitting conditions, though, today, and if you were to look at Ballpark Pal, for old time's sake, because next week, guys, is the final week of MLB season. Like I said, I would only really focus on Bobby Witt. Looks to be very EV. Astros, they're not there. This Bobby Witt play is a massive mistake on DraftKings. This is probably a nuke and a half on Bobby Witt. If I'm looking, though, at the park conditions in Kansas City, not good. Not good hitting conditions. So the best hitting conditions are going to be Coors Field, Great American Ballpark, Dodger Stadium, and Rate Field, where the White Sox are. Neutral hitting conditions in Minnesota and Arizona and in Baltimore. It's okay in Tampa. So... But if I'm looking at the best ones, we're looking at the White Sox and the Padres. Nothing there. What about the Dodgers? Shohei to go deep. Canby Sportsbook. Good price. I don't think anyone's going to disagree that Shohei Ohtani could hit a home run. He did it last night. Could do it again. Enjoy the weekend demo. No doubt about that, brother. Looking at the Reds game, Seiya Suzuki on MGM would be the play. This is a pretty good spot right here. Plus 340 odds on MGM. Better hitting conditions there. And then the Angels and the Rockies, nothing there. So those would be my top plays. I would definitely sprinkle something on Bobby Witt. You could see that DraftKings just adjusted their price. So you could still get something over there. But for the most part, yeah, that's fine. I mean, if Schwarber's playing today, okay. I just don't know if the biggest reasons is like the Dodgers clinched the playoff spot. So I don't know if Shohei Ohtani is going to play the entire game or if he gets yanked. He probably would, right? But because with baseball, you kind of want to play every day. So there might be some really good value here. Maybe I'm overlooking what could be some awesome value today. But for the most part, I'm going to wait until I'm going to pay attention to that Astros-Mariners game. And then otherwise, I'm not really going to go after too much. I'm just going to focus and wait for the postseason. Because, it's a long season with baseball, 162 games. And it's just not something I'm really going to probably focus my time and efforts on. So strikeouts instead of home runs. And to also be honest, I'm just sick and tired of betting the same props that we've been betting all summer long. I'm ready to switch it up a bit. Tyler Glasnow under 6.5 Ks. Again, though, I don't know if Glasnow is going to be on a pitch count today because the Dodgers clinched, so they just want to keep him fresh and warm. Maybe he goes and pitches 7 innings tonight. I'm not really sure. This is a great price to Pinnacle. But again, Pinnacle's only taking $250 on this play. So that's a tough one. Some teams that I know off the top of my head that strike out a lot. Joey Wentz. The Tigers do strike out a decent amount. I just can't remember who Joey Wentz pitches for. He pitches for the Braves. So the Tigers strike out a decent amount, so I don't like normally betting unders on this one. Rockies strike out a lot. Kyle Hendricks under 2.5. That's not something I ever really want to have to be recommended to bet. Noah Cameron, both the Blue Jays and the Royals are top 3 for striking out the least amount in Major League Baseball. So I don't mind betting unders, but this is a very slim edge. But I'm okay with maybe a little sprinkle on it. Losing streak. I don't disagree. Dodgers do want to clinch the division, so betting Ohtani's not bad. Again, as you can tell, my mind's not solely focused on baseball right now. It's kind of part of being a Pittsburgher. Once we hit September, really once we hit like July, no one gives a shit about baseball anymore. But it's still important. The Dodgers still want to clinch, so there could be something there. This is just too good of a price that I can't pass this up on Bet Rivers or Desert Diamond. I don't mind that at all. Even if the Giants strike out a little bit, sometimes if you give me a price that's good enough, I'm going to go after it. So that's where I would kind of take a look at, guys. Definitely Ohtani to go deep, Schwarber to go deep. Take a look at those plays. But that's it, guys. We're going to be back over tomorrow here, 11 a.m., doing it again. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me, the support, the stream. Apologies if I get a little too enthusiastic sometimes. It's just that for the OGs and DGens that have been showing up on the streams, and, if you're limited on certain sports books, and you have access to the exchanges, get creative with the exchanges. That's the point that I really want to drive home today. Stop making excuses that you're limited on Fanatics. If you have a No Vig or Profit X, go look at Fanatics plays, start creating your own plays, make markets. Untap the full potential of these exchanges. Stop whining and making excuses. I'm tired of hearing that shit. Anyways, guys, love you.